All right. So thank you for joining us here on the Lighthouse. I'm here with a very good friend of mine, Elias Alias. And Elias is a philosophical poet, a gold sculpting jewelry designer, and a diamond setter. And he's also an honorably discharged U.S. Marine, Vietnam veteran, and a proud father and grandfather, metaphysical student of spiritual energies, willing slave to all cats, and happy country boy grown old, fully cognizant, self-owning individualist, which I can attest to that. He's an amateur student of spirit, soul, and psyche, and a loyal advocate of love's thought system. He's a respectful and appreciative human creation of and by universal nature. His pseudonym is Elias Alias, but your real name is Franklin Shook, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Elias is a founding member of the Oathkeepers Board of Directors for 6 years and Oathkeepers National Website Editor in Chief for 7 years. And you resigned in 2016. And your signature, which is really in every sense of the word signature, is just beautiful. So your signature is flowering intelligence, universal garden, the bloom of a sunrise is yesterday's pardon. So those are beautiful words. But I wanted to thank you for coming on the Lighthouse with me today,
Oh,
Elias.
to be with you, man.
I
Yeah.
sure I sure do appreciate it, and I thought we could talk about your book today, Oathkeepers Targeted Red. Now, tell me why you came up with that title, Targeted Red. What does that mean?
uh, to begin to explain that, I would have to say uh, r- red would be like a danger flag, and targeted would be like somebody was posing that concern for you, targeting you. Uh,
Okay.
the ADL and the SPLC, that is the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, both attacked Oath Keepers right out the gate in early 2009. And I mean, they couldn't stand the idea that we were organizing the concept of honoring one's oath to the Constitution.
Right.
Yeah, oh, that meant them all out of shape. In fact, the ADL put a hit piece on me on their front page years ago. I guess it's back in 2009, accusing me of being anti-Semitic.
Wow. Wow.
So we went
You
to
know,
the.
I gotta
Let me.
say, man, I'm jealous of that right there because I've been working for years and years and years to try to get on their list of enemies or whatever it is that they've got going there. But
Yeah,
you managed to get their attention enough that they called you anti-Semitic, huh?
well, they did on their website front page,
Hmm.
ADL, and so I went. I was the editor for Oath Keepers website also. So I went to our website and posted the fact that I had married a Hebrew woman. You can't be anti-Semitic and marry a Jewish girl. Okay.
Right.
So the ADL abandoned me at that point, and I've never heard another word out of them since then
Hmm.
about me.
Okay.
So Oathkeepers is anything but racist. Stewart Rhodes himself has, I think he's at least a quarter Mexican ancestry,
Right,
and uh, he's kind of, kind of like me, just Heinz 57 variety. So it's really humorous to see how the deep state players like ADL and SPLC,
right.
how they can twist and pervert anything.
Oh yeah.
It's, yeah.
Well, I recently did a search for Oath Keepers and for videos of our he's both our friend, Stewart Rhodes. I know him and you know him. And I did a search for videos of Stewart Rhodes after he had been pardoned by President Trump.
Mhm.
And I saw page after page after page after page of all these hit pieces from the corporate media. And a lot of them featured this guy, Mark Potok from the SPLC. And
Mhm. Yeah.
they were the source of their information about Stewart all came from the ADL and the SPLC. So
Yeah.
they're really after the Oath Keepers. Now, why is that?
Well, that is the question of the day. Why would those two private sector organizations want to go after Oath Keepers, whose only message was if you stood up, raised that hand, and swore an oath to the Constitution, you
Right,
should honor that oath. I mean, that's the whole Oath Keepers message in a nutshell.
right,
And yet the ADL just they freaked out about that. Oh, we would actually Oath Keepers would actually educate police, military, and other
huh?
federal, state, and local authorities about their duty to honor their oath to the Constitution. And the fact that that oath is not sworn to honor illegal orders. We Oath Keepers says it is possible to receive an illegal or unlawful order,
Right.
such as, and one of Stewart's favorite examples would be during Hurricane Katrina,
Mm-hmm.
the local government decided to collect everybody's guns out of their houses. Remember that?
Mm. Oh, yes, I do. I remember that vividly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was an unconstitutional act on a local level there in New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
in response to an emergency situation with that hurricane. But the American people's oath individually is the same as a military or police oath. It is to honor the Constitution and be grateful the founders created a constitutional republic instead of any kind of a monarchy or authoritarian system of ownership over the individuals.
Right.
Uh, so, man, I am an individualist, and I look, if you'll pardon my French, there is no man-made government has its brand on my ass. Okay, I'm not a piece of cattle, part
Right.
of the herd, part of that what I call the mesmerized, hypnotized, somnambulized masses.
Oh, oh,
Okay.
oh. That really resonates with me, especially the somnambulized part. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know what somnambulized means, but could you explain to us what somnambulism is?
I would be glad to, in my own opinion
Okay.
or interpretation of it. Somnambulism is the classification name for people who would walk in their sleep. Once in a while, you might hear somebody, a cousin or an uncle or somebody, nearby or neighbors. You hear of somebody that has a problem of getting out of bed, sound asleep, and walking around their home
Hmm.
without being aware they're doing it. Okay.
Right.
It's called sleepwalking. And that's what somnambulism is the classical term for. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of well, I'll repeat that again. Somnambulized American citizens
Right.
who have been paying attention to CNN, NBC, ABC, MSNBC, and their ilk supportive platforms like the ADL and the SPLC.
Right.
Okay? I mean, if you took time to go back into the history of the CFR, that's your Council on Foreign Relations.
Sure.
I think they're created along about 1922 or something like that. Uh, Go into their website and look and see. Um, their mission is to set the mood and tone and language of the day for all your major broadcasting companies, NBC,
Hmm.
ABC, all of them. That
Yeah.
they
And
march.
if I could ask you a question about the CFR, uh, don't a lot of the CFR members also aren't they high-ranking members of the hierarchy in these different media organizations? Some of them are CEOs
Well,
of big media companies, aren't they?
I would not be surprised. I haven't looked into them that deeply to collect names or anything, but uh, I do know the media, the mass media, turns to the CFLR every day for their talking points.
Hmm.
That's why if you're watching these different mass media programs and news hours, you'll see this different spokesman saying the same thing
Right.
across all these different channels. And it's
Hmm.
just incredibly controlled. And why would the CFR want to control the public perception?
Right.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
Uh,
very good question.
but they do. They
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Elias, getting back to your book, which I have here in my hand, Targeted Red, Oathkeepers Targeted Red, the Mental Militia, Oathkeepers and the Mental Militia. Uh, Tell me about this symbol here on the front of the book for the Mental Militia. What is that symbol?
that is a creation that an artful Navy veteran female officer who was a member in my original Mental Militia web forum back in 1999. She was also a member in my first Yahoo club for the Mental Militia. But she had done a tour with the Navy, highly intelligent, high IQ lady, and she created this bird. What it is a Liberty Griffin. And the Liberty Griffin is striking flint with steel to spark the worldwide consciousness revolution for all individuals everywhere.
Huh, okay.
And that's what that bird is all about. Yeah, you got it. Oh, that's a good focus right there. Yeah. So she was the girl that drew that was in my first um, online forum in 1999. And since then, I've always loved that symbol. I have a store at the Mental Militia website where people can buy Mental Militia t-shirts and jackets and all other kinds of clothing that have this Liberty Griffin image on them. And they're really cool. I have a really dear friend in New York State who is a retired police officer who wears that shirt all the time.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask you about your book. In fact, what I'd like to do is read a little bit of the foreword from
Oh,
your
sure.
book, and then if you wouldn't mind, just comment on this.
Thank you.
So, get ready for a new sort of ride through a writing style that is a unique blend of fact and fiction, parapsychology and metaphysics, inspection of overt authoritarianism and clandestine mind control. Enjoy the storyline as Franklin Shook takes readers into the mysterious realms of 21st century schizoid statecraft via his pseudonym Elias Alias. Now that's a hell of a introduction to your writing style. So what made you write this book in that sort of style? What was the inspiration for that?
That inspiration came from the heartland of the mass media. Uh, a young reporter, journalist working for the Wall Street Journal contacted me and called me 4 times over a period of a couple of months. And we had long phone conversations every time. She was looking for anything I could say that the Wall Street Journal could turn against Oathkeepers.
Right.
Okay. That was her purpose. But during our conversations, I was happy to speak with her. She's a very nice, friendly sort of young lady. Uh, you can look her up at the Wall Street Journal website for their journalist. She's listed there. And but I asked her, I said, okay, you graduated from Columbia University. She said, yes. I said, do you remember the name carved in concrete over the door, the front door to the admin building at Columbia University? And she said, well, I've never paid attention to it. I said, well, it's there. It's E. Low, E capital E Low. And who was he? Oh my goodness. You ever hear of, let's see, Franklin Delano Roosevelt? And
Right.
she's,
Sure.
yes. I say, okay, Mr. Delano, his middle name, was given to him in honor of his grandfather, who was Mr. Delano, who worked with, get this now, and this is on Wikipedia. Anybody can go read it. Uh, Mr. Delano worked for the um, British East India Company shipping, and the fleet that was running out of Boston, Massachusetts. Both of those shipping services would stop at Shanghai, China, and visit with Mr. Delano, who was managing the opium warehouses for the industry.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. This is on Wikipedia. Unabashedly, they admit, yeah, he was running. This was FDR's grandfather.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Running the opium business in China.
Wow. Wow.
Uh, there is a book called, oh, I can't think of the name of it now, but there is a book detailing in great detail uh, all of these escapades in our former president's family, Mr.
Nice.
Delano. But you know what's going on Wall Street? What's going on in Washington D.C.? What's going on with the headquarters of the media, the CFR? What's going on with support groups like the ADL and SPLC? All of it has to do with it shows you that there is an extreme concern in the deep state players' minds that they got to do something to control this idea of honoring your oath.
Right.
They got to go after Oath Keepers and make them the bad guys. Okay. I have a copy of a book that's the official record by the U.S. House of Representatives about January 6th. This
Mm,
has the U.S. House of Representatives seal on the front cover and the back cover. It
okay.
was published by the government. Okay. And the first two paragraphs in that book is dealing with Oath Keepers.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So Oath Keepers really were targeted red on January 6th. Uh,
Uh, yes, that's for damn sure.
well, let me ask
Yeah.
you about the founder of Oath Keepers, Stewart Rhodes himself. Now, obviously, he was maybe the most targeted single individual in the whole January 6th affair. So, what is your take on Stewart Rhodes himself?
Oh man, I've got a lot about my relationship with him in my book, Targeted Red.
Hmm.
Um, I've spent nights at Stewart's home. He has spent nights at my home. We have we have worked together for many, many years. We did for 7 years. Um, I know a lot about him that is extremely admirable. Uh, if you look at it was July 7th in 2022, and it's on YouTube. There's a video about him. He he is what he says he is. He's not running a game. He's, I mean, this guy is an attorney, graduated Yale University.
Hmm.
He did Oath Keepers, okay, and he's he's just genuine. When the J6 committee decided to hammer on him, he wasn't even at the Capitol when they broke into it.
Right,
He was watching that on television in his hotel room with his lawyer.
right.
Okay. But
Well,
yet they think, oh, he planned this whole thing.
oh,
Uh,
sure.
it's the most absurd thing, Adam.
Right.
But you
Well,
know, they
it
had to
seemed,
have a plan. They had to have a bad guy,
sure.
somebody to lay the blame on for all those, what, 200,000 people storming the U.S. Capitol. I mean, there had to be some reason. Oh, it must have been those dang Oath Keepers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for an insurrection, I would say it was surprisingly nonviolent, and from my understanding of it, the only people that got hurt were the patriots that were protesting.
uh, the Epoch Times has got a lot of really good full coverage of all of that. But there was somebody planted a pistol beside one of the doorways into the Capitol, and somebody picked it up. So there was one gun there. But Oath Keepers were ordered by their leader and president, Mr. Stewart Rhodes. He ordered them to leave all their guns out of Washington, D.C. Leave them in your hotel
Hmm.
rooms over in Virginia. Don't bring any guns to the Capitol. Yet, one of the amazing videos I've seen was put out by MSNBC in which a deserter from Oath Keepers who has confessed that he joined Oath Keepers to write his book about how bad, dangerous, evil, conspiracy, conspiracy theoretics these guys are. And I've got his book.
Was his name by any chance Benedict Arnold?
That would be a good pseudonym. His name was Jason Van Tatenhove. Can you see that?
I can,
Is
yes.
that
The Perils
okay?
of
That's
Extremism. And yeah,
yeah.
I have heard of heard of him. And tell me about his why he turned against Oathkeepers and what that was all about.
This is on his website, and the website is protected by two law firms in Washington, D.C. And he was sort of, I want to say, adopted. There was a 20-year veteran of the Department of Justice Attorney General.
Okay.
She quit there and went to work for one of these two big law firms. She saw Jason being interviewed by MSNBC, and during that interview, he said that Oath Keepers, and now this is published, I can just give you the link, you can see it online.
Okay.
That Oath Keepers went to the Capitol that day, January 6th, with automatic firearms and handguns to throw over the U.S.
Mhm.
government
Yeah.
and establish their own system. This
Well, I would say,
this is literally
the idea that that is what happened is just so outrageously ridiculous. Because I'll
uh,
tell you this, if those 500,000 plus people that were there had intended to overthrow the government, I think the government would have been overthrown. I don't think
and
that
Stewart
any force could have stopped that.
and Stewart would not have ordered all his oath keepers to leave their
Right,
pistols back at home.
right.
Okay. Now,
Well,
you wouldn't have a real revolution unless you were armed, and Stewart made sure no oath keepers were carrying any guns.
I've met Stuart and I really love the guy and I think if anybody has had more false information written about him, I haven't met that person yet. But anyway, let me ask you about another part of your book. You used a character in your book called Miss Tammy. Now,
Mhm.
was Miss Tammy basically a fictional representation of this lady that interviewed you from the Wall Street Journal? Is that where you
Well,
got the inspiration?
see what my book at Amazon is listed as political fiction,
Hmm.
and I wanted it to be a fiction novel. So nobody would have any grounds to sue me if they thought I was using their name as a character or whatever.
Right.
Uh, it's strictly political fiction, classified that way at Amazon. Okay. So, but then uh, this Jason Van Tatenhove guy who swore him down on camera for NBC that Oath Keepers went to the Capitol with assault rifles and handguns. And Mary McCord, the 20-year DOJ Attorney General veteran, now
Uh-huh.
working for a law firm, she decided that she could work with him. She contacted him. They got together. She got him aligned with the January 6th committee, and he was invited to come to Washington, D.C. from Colorado and testify about those Oath Keepers. And he did so on July 7th, 2022,
Wow.
on major uh, major news company has got it on their website. I think it was MSNBC. Uh, so you can see it on YouTube. He actually stood up there and lied about Oath Keepers to
Wow.
the Sixth Committee.
So Benedict Arnold found a friend, an insider inside the U.S. government. That's amazing. So,
Adam, in my next book, uh, I'm taking an old poem about Mary Had a Little Lamb, It's fleece
Uh-huh.
was white as snow. I have broken that poem into three different sections in my next book, explaining about Mary and who her little lamb might be
Uh-huh.
and how she liked to make sure the lamb was happy. And it's really a good piece of writing. It's over 120 pages in my next book. So you'll get a kick out of
Fantastic.
that.
So I wanted to ask you about that. You're writing part two. Is that what you're up to these days? Is part two?
Adam, I'm doing two books at the same time. Uh, when I burn out on writing on one book, I turn to the other book. I'm doing a collection of 74 of my poems in a book that will be titled The Unemployed Poet. Those poems are getting nice attention in nice places that I won't mention right now, but that should be published by this spring. I am much more than halfway through compiling my sequel to Targeted Red, and that's where all of the activities that Mary McCord in Washington, D.C. has
Uh-huh.
been up to are documented. I've researched her on the official U.S. government Attorney General website. They have a description over there. And she is not going to be pleased when I published the fact she voted twice to impeach Donald Trump. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she she has a long list of very interesting public pronouncements and expressed opinions that indicates who and what she really is in her soul.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay,
I can see that.
yeah, yeah. So it's
Well,
going to be interesting.
Elias, I wanted to ask you, since we're just about at the end of our time today, tell people how they
Oh,
can get a hold of your book. How can people find Oathkeepers Targeted Red?
okay. That big red lettering there says targeted red on the front of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Targetedred.com is
Okay.
where they can buy autographed copies of my book
Okay.
from me, and I pay the postage. Okay, or that saves them paying postage at a higher price at Amazon.
Okay.
Okay, but they get personalized copies. Targetedred.com.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
and
put
thanks for
that
mentioning
I'll
that.
put that up on the screen here for the viewers.
Well, that would be very, very nice, man. I appreciate it. Um, you're
So,
a buddy.
well, let me ask you, do you have any what I'd like to ask you is, and we've got about a minute and a half left here. Uh, why is it, do you think, that the Oath Keepers and the 10 orders you refuse to follow are such a threat to the powers that be, the powers that shouldn't be?
I was just going to say those powers that be really shouldn't be. Uh, Men, they are so far afield of any kind of sane perception of what our Constitution is all about that they just shouldn't be the powers that are.
Right,
Uh, I mean, it's like they go into that swamp called DC as a political elected individual, and the swamp swallows them up, redoes all of their DNA or anything else they can, mind control, uh, turns them into the kind of human who forgot about his own individuality and
right.
decided that a man-made government is where his dedication should be. To me,
Yeah.
I'm a poetic kind of guy, and I think my highest authority comes through the back of my mind from my soul.
So, Elias, it looks like we got cut off there in the middle of our meeting, but got you back, and I'm glad for that. So, before we even close this thing up, tell me a little bit about yourself. I understand you were on the John B. Wells Caravan to Midnight a couple times. How many appearances have you had on his show, by the way?
Actually, I think I've been on there 3 times. Each time was about my book. He and his wife, Brindy, loved the book. And to his good credit, I would say every time he's had me on his show, that same night I sell 30 or 40 books.
Nice.
So I appreciate him having me on. I met him in 2017 at the first Red Pill Expo, and that was over in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Hmm.
Uh, he was the MC for that. Uh, oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. The first one where I met him was in Bozeman, Montana.
Okay.
I've met him several times at Red Pill Expo, but he's quite a character. He and his wife, Brindy, like my book. And he's had me on to talk about things in my book uh, 3 times. And those films are on the internet at John B. Wells Caravan to Midnight website.
Okay.
Yeah. So
If you
I'm
can
real pleased.
if you can provide me with the links to those shows, I'll put those into the description box underneath this video so people
I,
can go look at those.
I'll be glad to do that. I can email them to you after the show.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Mhm.
Elias, I just wanted to say thanks for coming on with me and talking about all this. I mean, I wish we could get into the details because, I sort of see you as kind of the professor of the New World Order here, and your knowledge about all these nefarious dealings that have gone on through history is just unmatched in my experience. But
Well, thank you.
I would really love it if people would go and check out your book. It's a fantastic read, and it's written in a style that I think is really entertaining. And I appreciate that you sent me a signed copy of it, and I just treasure it. Uh, so, do you have any anecdotes from the book that are a particular favorite of yours?
You know, I really don't. What I like about the book is every day for 11 days, this Wall Street Journal reporter
Uh-huh.
was out in Montana interviewing the old man, Elias Alias. And every day he took her to a different picturesque part of Western Montana, which is absolutely beautiful country.
Right.
And so that was one of the nice things I liked. But I also liked the fact that I was at liberty. I was at liberty because it was a work of fiction to go ahead and get into a lot of things that uh, I would have been concerned about publishing if it was a different kind of book.
Right.
As a novel, a fiction novel, I think I can get away with what I've done there, but really deep looks into everything from the United Nations down to the deep state in Washington, D.C., their in-bed relationships with Wall Street, and on and on and on. Their whole apparatus, it's all exposed in my book and in detail. And what I've done, and I've had a lot of people compliment me about it, I give the links to where what I'm saying was originally said by them.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so it's all verified. Anybody, I've had readers actually tell me, I typed in a link that you posted in that book.
Right,
And there they were, just what you said it was. So,
right. Well, you what you do is you're opening up a view into a very dark and mysterious world that most people have never even delved into. And I think of you as sort of almost like a David Icke type of individual, but American and a mountain man, you know. Uh, and I just love you to death, Elias. But the thing I was thinking when I was reading your book was the atmosphere that you create. And I think nothing exemplifies that atmosphere more than the first chapter and how you open up the book at the Lost Grizzly Saloon. You just paint a real picture of the atmosphere inside the saloon. And I think you and I were in there a couple times when I came up to visit you.
yeah,
But
we
uh,
were.
but
Yeah.
anyway, before we go, can you tell us a little bit about the mental militia and how people can get involved with you on that respect?
Well, it's a militia of the mind that I created originally in 1999, December. Uh, the idea of an individual, let me give it in the Newtonian universe way of seeing it. Uh, you have a universe, you have a solar system, you have a planetary system, and so on and so on. And uh, then when you look in the telescope, you can see all these heavenly orbs orbiting other orbs, moons around suns, and so
Right,
on. But if you look in a microscope, go down the other way to the microcosmic level instead of the cosmic level. The micro level all reduces to the same thing, orbs orbiting other orbs.
right,
You have an atom with a nucleus, and orbiting around that nucleus without touching it, you have an electron and a proton and a neutron. Okay? Those orbital orbs are not touching the nucleus of the atom they're orbiting around. Just
right,
like our Earth doesn't touch the sun, which it's orbiting around. So, as above, so below is how the old Masons would always put it. Look out
right,
to the universe, then look down at the microscope, and it all comes down. And this is in a couple of my poems. It's orbs orbiting other orbs. And the consciousness phenomenon of our physiology, which includes a brain that can generate a central magnetic field of thought for psyche, for the mind.
hmm,
And once we have a full realization that that's where we are, the whole universe opens up, uh, eternal truth opens up, timelessness opens up. In in my book, I talk about uh, the three tenses of time, where our whole language is. We are trained as children learning to talk by a language that is three tenses. But as old men and wild, crazy poets like me all know anyway, there is a fourth tense of time.
huh.
Are you ready for it? The fourth,
I hope so.
okay, past tense, present tense, and future tense. The fourth tense of time is pretense.
Oh, oh, okay.
That goes right back to Buddhist. The uh, the entire theory of Buddhism supports the
Uh-huh.
heck out of what I just said.
Well, I heard
Yeah.
something interesting from the Buddha. And that was the following statement. Let's see if I can remember it exactly. Three things shall not long remain hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. So,
That's awesome.
Elias,
That's awesome.
I certainly hope that people look into your book and get some enlightenment about the truth about how the Oath Keepers have been targeted red, and how, really patriots across our whole country have been targeted red by this same group of people.
I
And
agree, man. Everybody is being targeted red. They're interested in how we think, what we think, and our lifestyle, our diet, our transportation system, everything. They want control over all of that. And that's what I call the deep state motive, right? So we're all being targeted,
yeah,
okay?
absolutely. And so, one last time before we go, can you tell people once again where they can get a hold of your book and what's the best way for them to get it?
The best way is to go to the website targetedred.com
Okay,
and just order the book there. I get their payment directly through the Stripe system, and I personally autograph their book and mail it to them, and then email them or write a letter with the tracking number on their receipt. Okay, that
excellent.
targetedred.com, easy way to get autographed, personalized copy of the book. And thank you for promoting this book too, Adam. I appreciate that, man.
Well, I sure appreciate you. You've been a real sage and a real inspiration for me, and I sure appreciate everything that you do. But it was wonderful to
Same
talk to
here.
you, and we'll talk again soon, Elias. Thank you very much.
Okay, brother. God bless you, man.
We'll head up to Glacier National Park once again one of these days.
Hey, that would be perfect. I'm
Fantastic.
glad I got a photo of you at Glacier in my book.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's
people that
right.
know you,
Yeah.
yeah, you're in the book.
That's a real source of pride for me that you put me in this book, Elias. I appreciate it. So you take
Man,
care and have a good evening, okay?
okay, brother.
All right.
Be
Love you,
careful
man.
out there.
All
Love
right.
you too, man.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.